Hey everybody, welcome to Bike Radio.
What's up everybody? Josh Noggle, aka CX Noggin.
Yes.
I'm a mountain bike racer, cyclocross racer, road racer, gravel racer, a little bit of everything. A fellow coach at EVOQ.BIKE.
If we've never met, I'm the co-founder and president of EVOQ.BIKE. I've been coaching athletes since 2010. I've trained with power myself for over 150,000 miles. I think I'm most proud of nearly 100 Pro 1 podiums just to show my consistency in the game and hunger to get better for myself and this community. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or follow and download episodes from Spotify. And if you really want to take your support to the next level, please click the support link at the bottom where a donation of even a couple dollars will help us pay for everything that keeps this free podcast going. Now off to the show.
Yo.
Josh Noggle. All right.
Yeah.
CX Noggin.
CX Noggin. Yo, somebody asked me, you had named one of your rides something on Strava. You referred to yourself as Picante Poppy, I believe.
Yeah.
How come you don't go by Picante Poppy? And should that be your new nickname?
Maybe. I mean, I usually don't deem my own nicknames, but I called it that because I just come back from Ecuador and living in a house where everyone only spoke Spanish. I had an entire lunch with the host mom through Google Translate and what I knew from high school. It was an amazing experience, but it was actually also very exhausting. One time I was sitting in that room and I was like, I just need to be around people that speak English, because you're obviously trying to be extra friendly, super nice, muy simpático, da 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 da. And my brain was just hurting. I was tired. I was like, this is so difficult to just talk and like hang out. So Picante Poppy, yeah, it's a little long, but maybe.
We'll keep working on it. We'll workshop it. This is a good starting point.
It's just what people. It all depends on what people call me, right? It's not like I can't pick my own nickname. I'm not a rap. Maybe
I think I wrote down a nickname for you, dude. Come on. Oh, you know what it was? No, it was going back to what I wanted to say was house dog in the house.
Ew, gross. House dog. Get out
I know
of here.
you don't. I know you don't like house dog. I still like house dog, but
it's not a nickname. That's like a nickname from 1988 or something. When people said dog, and please don't say it's DAWG.
Oh, now it is.
Nah, I'm pass.
Okay. All right.
We'll okay, so we need to remember to do chapters.
Yes.
And the first one is going to be, I'm going to pick a sponsor. This actually isn't a sponsor. I need Trade Coffee to be a sponsor, but some people had messaged me and said, I didn't actually think I was going to get free coffee from that link. I don't, it's just like the guy in the Discord, Nick, that I know, who said, I finally tried Lactigo. That stuff actually works. And I was like, dude, why would I put my name behind something and literally tell 1,000 people about it and then have people like, hey, I bought this $30 bottle. It doesn't work at all. I actually care about my reputation here, people. So when somebody said, I actually got free coffee from that link, I said, what did you think? He's like, I don't know. I thought there was gonna be some like trick to it. It's like, I'm not going to say, I'm not here to like give people links and trick you. So if you want free coffee, literally from Trade, they have, I don't know how many roasters. That's where I get all these IG coffee picks. Click the link. It's your bag is free. They end up giving me, I think, a $2 credit or something. I just want people to have free coffee. This stuff is amazing. So I just ordered some Gucci coffee for the EVOQ Florida weekend, which I'm not trying to create FOMO, but a lot of people from EVOQ are coming down here. We're going to have a week of rides. Where are you staying? How far away are you going to be from here?
That's actually a really good question. I've been meaning to talk to my buddy whose place I'm staying at as to where. I think I'm further north than you guys.
Okay.
But we were going to, I think the plan is to ride to you. We'll get like a little extra riding in. So we'll be at like the startup, which I
want to make sure I finish the day with the most mileage though. So let me know how many miles you're doing extra so I can either leave a little earlier or. So you're going to ride to meet us at 6?
I think that's the plan. Yeah.
Okay. We were probably going to start at 5:15. So
5:15. Okay.
No, I mean, just if you're going to be leaving there at 5:30, we got to be a couple. I don't like people getting these bonus miles on us. We don't want to look like chumps down here on the south side.
Well, bro, I will definitely not be telling you. I'm not gonna
I
upload
know. All right,
I'm not gonna
Patrick, we're leaving at 4:45 just to be safe.
upload. I can't wait. I was gonna say that I'm not gonna upload any of my stuff to Strava, and then at the end of the week, you're gonna be like, "Oh, dude, he did like a whole extra day."
Yeah, I would actually be pretty jealous about that. Yeah. Anyways,
No, I'll be dead anyways.
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be nice base miles. I was talking to Tom about that, chill and something I need. I'm actually doing a bike race next weekend.
Oh, nice. Where's this?
There, Lake Okeechobee. I don't know how I stumbled. I was trying to think of why I was on BikeRadio, and they had a race an hour and a half away from here on January 6th. I said, why did nobody go to this? It's obviously going to be a super small field. It's really more like 4s and 5s, but a couple guys, I think from Mino Rip were up there. The first race of the series was 50 miles. This next one is 70. So I'm like, oh, we're actually doing a legit road race in January. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, I think that I've had enough base from before I went to Ecuador, and then it's been a month since the race ended and really been riding mostly base. Get another weekend with you guys, do one race. I don't think it's too bad of an idea, but I guess we'll find out.
I got a question on that, but I want to ask you first. Can you hear the dog? There's dogs barking out back. Can you hear that?
Nope.
Okay, good. So I know someone who races for Amino Rep, and I saw him. He posted some photos from Instagram. And I thought that race it could have been a different race, but it looked like a crit. Or is it just like a? It looked like it was on like a racetrack.
I hope it's not. I don't think it was.
It could have been a different thing.
Who posted the pictures?
It was on Amino Rep. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, it might. That's the thing. It might not be. It could have been a whole different race or something. But what caught my attention, I was like, oh my God, these dudes are already racing. It's January.
There's Swamp Classic is the first weekend of February. And then it's actually, unfortunately, the same weekend as, dude, doing these chapters is really hard during this. I'm like trying to type and think. I can't do it. Is the same weekend as Tour South Florida. And so it's already promoters trying to fight out the same weekend. I forget who moved on whose weekend. I really don't care because Tour South Florida changed into 3 crits. So, I'm getting more into crits again this year, which is very weird. I don't know where this came. I think it was maybe the year off of crits actually got me more excited for them. Staying committed to not doing pro, it's not NRC anymore. No USA crits, just because it's a little too hectic for me. But 1-2 crits I will do. Or pro 1-2, whatever. But was thinking about going out to Tulsa and need to decide because registration opens in a couple days for that. And even if I went to Tulsa, I would do the 1-2. I wouldn't do the pro 1. I don't like racing at night, and I'd actually like a chance to win. If you don't get a good start position, you're going to be riding behind. You're not even going to be able to get up behind Legion. The race to the race kind of is, I don't know.
I was actually just talking to someone, and they were talking about doing some USA crits. And they're like, yeah, I don't know about racing under the lights. It'd be so much fun. And I was like, dude, go do the 1-2. That's a super competitive field.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a good way to just like, I mean, I haven't raced one of those USA crit races, but I'm like, it's a good way to test the waters. And I'm like, if you do well, then you do the what do they call it? Is it the pro? Is that what you refer to it as, like the other one?
Yeah. And it's just way, way different. It's way faster, way more teams, way faster. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things out of my comfort zone of speeding corners. Also, I don't want to say this in a negative way, but there is that idea that from mostly younger people, like, hey, if I win this race or if I get this top 10, this is going to put my name on the list of big riders. And while that might be true for American racing, it's not like you're getting this crazy contract from it, but people will race and do crazy dumb stuff, which is what I've said before. Like, people love to make fun of masters racing, but there's just way more respect of not doing dumb stuff in a race that's going to create a crash. And you know, a lot of people are way more comfortable with crashing than I am. I have no problem saying that I hate crashing. And so having a race where I feel like there's unnecessary ones because of actions of people just trying to like chop a corner to move up one spot at the wrong time is like, maybe I'm just too old. So, dude, go ahead.
What I was gonna say there, dude, in regards to and crashing and cornering, is those dudes who do well are the guys who do the whole series and been doing this for years. You know, I'm saying not to say that you or anybody else hasn't done crits, but those guys are super comfortable. You know, it's like really bumping shoulders and, you know, going 35 miles an hour through these corners. It's just different. It's a different style of racing.
Different style of racing, huge skill set, just not what I'm good at. And so I know my lane, and those had never been fun for me. So it was more frightening. And it was actually really nice to hear Lucas Burgoyne talk. I was like, oh yeah, it's scary as hell in those last couple laps. I'm good with it. I'm not a thrill seeker. I'm in it for the like fitness watt side, and I'm okay with technique being a part of the race, but not the like everyone's scary or scared. So, you know, whatever. Turn 40 on Monday.
Oh, wait, you do? Oh, dude, happy early birthday. Well, yeah, happy early birthday.
It's been some really good reflecting time. In my 30s, I rode 140,000 miles. So I'll definitely beat that in my 40s. And yeah, pumped. It's a rainy day here today. And tomorrow, going to do a nice ride, celebrate. Getting back into my core. I've been kind of slacking on my core and need to eat a little bit less bread. I think I've been eating too much bread. So,
are you going to do anything special? Is it going to be like a 400-mile day for 40 or something?
No, it's going to be like a 4-hour ride. Just normal. I don't go too crazy for birthdays. To me, it's sort of just another day. I think that this one feels different. It's actually coupled, I think, with Ecuador. Ecuador was some really good reflecting time and being gone for so long. And, you know, I don't know. Pedal's been to the metal the past 3 years. EVOQ just turned 3. Congratulations, everybody. You're listening to the podcast. Thank you for being a part of this. We actually have 5 good podcast questions that we need to go over. And, you know, just whether it's recording or blogging or athletes or helping new coaches figure out how they're doing all the stuff. There's just been so many things going on. I think being gone in Ecuador was a really good pause. And then I messaged my buddy about turning 40. I was like, dude, did it feel different? Does it feel? And he's like, well, halfway there. And then I said, but not even really, because 1 through 20, you're just trying to figure yourself out, like get things going. And then 20 to 30, still doing a lot of dumb stuff, not really in the best groove, at least for me. 30 to 40 was awesome. But when I turned 30, I actually said, I don't like the term can't wait. You always got to wait. I said 30 is cool, but when 40 hits, some big stuff is going to pop off. And so it was like 10 years to get everything together. And so much happened. I mean, I came 10 years, like moved to Tennessee, moved to North Carolina, Florida, rode a ton, raced a ton, traveled a lot, got married, bought a house, So I think just a lot of reflection time that feels like a launching pad to the next 10 years, that it'll be weird to turn 50, but 40 is going to be all. If I make it till tomorrow, you never know. I could get struck by lightning tonight. So don't want to jinx it. Nice EVOQ sweatshirt, by the way.
Thanks, bro. Got the ducks.
Got my Don't Let Us Off the Front t-shirt on. Okay, let's get into bikes.
Let's do it.
Minute 13, chapter. Sorry, guys. We're trying to make chapters for you guys. So hang on, I got to sneeze. Woo! Could you hear that?
Do you? Yeah, that was a loud one, man.
13:10 sneeze. Okay, 13:35. First question. Can you hit me with guidance for young athletes or anyone thinking they want to someday pursue coaching? Hang on. Excuse me. It's not COVID, I promise.
Bless you, bro.
Yeah, dude, one of us has bad Wi-Fi. You're like frozen. I think it's you.
I don't think it's me, dude. I'm telling you, I'm good. I'm the only one on the Wi-Fi right now.
It's usually always you. So I'm just
Oh
gonna
my God.
point the finger. Just blame Josh. Damn, we should have a t-shirt on Evoke. Blame Josh.
Blame Josh. Oh my God. Actually, yo, that one would have sold out though, you know.
It would have. So they actually can't sell out. It's unlimited. Okay, guidance for young athlete or anyone think they want to someday pursue coaching. I really like this question. You want to jump in, or do you want me to jump in?
One thing I want to say before I say anything is listen to that podcast that I just did with Josh Hunt and Alex Stankovic. Josh is Alex's coach, but he is a coach for Neo Pro out of England, and he like specializes in like newer riders, what guys and girls who have aspirations to be professionals. And we talked about a bunch of stuff, and he's super knowledgeable there. And check out his website. But yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that he touched on is just like. So wait, what was the question again? advice for younger athletes, right?
No. See, that's why I was like, you're going down the wrong path here.
I know.
Guidance for the young athlete or anyone thinking they want to someday pursue coaching. Gotcha. So I don't know if that podcast is specific to that question. Still sounds like a great topic to listen to.
Yeah. Guidance for the young athlete for sure. Okay, so guidance for the young athlete, I would say.
That wants to pursue coaching.
Oh, I thought it was two separate questions, bro.
I don't think so, bro.
This timestamp.
No. Guidance for the young athlete or anyone thinking that they want to someday pursue coaching.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Should we restart this episode, or
no? This timestamp is Josh is confused.
Okay. Timestamp 1335 WT. Blame Josh.
Yep. Exactly.
And then 1550 athlete that wants to pursue coaching. Okay. Go.
Do a bunch of research. Get online.
On what? Research on what?
I would say on everything, anything that interests you, and things that you think are wrong, things that you think are right, training techniques, see what the pros are doing, see what their coaches are doing, research why they're doing it, reach out to them, see if you can get a hold of somebody. Not everyone makes themselves available like we do, but I'm sure there are plenty of other coaches. Send them an email.
And to that note, send us an email, send us a message. If you do not get us a reply from one of us, something went wrong. There was a guy that submitted something for a PFA, and on Instagram, he said, "Hey, by the way, you guys never hit me back, blah, 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 blah." And we dug into it, and communication got messed up. You will always hear back from one of us. So if you message us, and somebody, props to us, somebody said, "I can't believe you actually replied to my email." Again, similar to the free coffee thing. I'm like, well, why would we tell you guys to message us if we don't actually want messages? We're here to try and help people. I agree with your answer. I would just say even the better thing could be, if you want to get into coaching, find one of your buddies that doesn't have a coach and say, "Hey, you want to coach each other?" And if they don't want to get into coaching, maybe you just coach them, see what they're doing, see what you would change, see how they respond. Also, remember that coaching is not just a training plan. Coaching is learning how to understand the other person's goals, what they really want to get out of this, what are they good at, what are they bad at, communication preference. Like, there's a lot of small things that I never really realized about coaching until I started doing it. And I'm actually really glad that, pivoting and going full time, I've gotten even better at it because I think more about coaching in general as opposed to just making someone faster on the bike. So it's a huge can of worms. And I think it was Jim Miller that had made the comment of, there are so many different types of coaches, whether some people are really good at the science side of things, other people are really good motivators, other people are, and he rattled off like 5 different things. I think being able to wear different hats is an important part of being a coach. But at the end of the day, I think you got to know, you got to be right. I personally think you got to be riding. You got to be training. You're not going to be current if you're not doing this stuff. And so continue to train. I think you should have a coach and continue to learn, but try out what you're learning on one of your friends that's open to it. I mean, that's how I got started. I think I charged $50 because there was a couple people that I didn't know. And I was just like, "Hey, I'm going to do this." And I would actually say, I actually think that's actually better because you want the other person to have some skin in the game. I I coached a few people for free. When they have no skin in the game, they're not following everything that you do because they don't really care that much. So then you can't learn. You're not learning. You're not getting feedback from them. What am I good at? They're like, whatever. So make it a small fee. That might be better.
And on that note, dude, I wanted to say with your buddy, maybe it's not even try out like training techniques and maybe you have ideas, but also dial in your communication. Maybe you'll find that like you think you're communicating really, efficiently and effectively, and your buddy's like, hey, I don't understand what you want me to do, or if was this good, was this bad? Because that's key. Like, you can have the best ideas for how to get someone fit, but if you can't communicate that or understand what the other person is telling you.
Yes. And organization. I've had a couple of coaches that have reached out to me, and I'll say, hey, would you mind if I pick your brain? It seems like you're doing content and you're coaching a lot of people, and there's 7 coaches now. And how do you're having people email and it's organization. You got to be on it. You can't, I know Tom's busy, but I don't want to email him something to have him be like a week later, like, oh, I forgot about that. I'm not in for that. And so I respond very quickly, I think, to every athlete. And that's why sometimes it takes me a couple of days to get to these random emails. Like I read it, I'm like, oof, I need 20 minutes for that I don't have right now because I'm also training. So you need to be organized and you need to have a system. And when am I doing? So like today, it's Sunday, we're recording this. I'm riding on my birthday on Monday, which is usually when I do a bunch of athletes. So I'm going to try and get a bunch of them done tonight after dinner so that I hate being behind on athletes because I don't want them thinking like, did you forget about me this week? Or sometimes I'll just email people and say, hey, like my training calendar switched up a little bit. I usually don't. That's why I'm flexible with it, like getting in on like Monday or Tuesday. So I don't want people to be worried that I miss them. But you can always just communicate with people. Always, communication is amazing. Let's move on. 21 minutes. We are at. I know that FTP isn't everything. At what point do you know you're maxed out? This is a good question. FTP is not everything, but it's important. And I think that you are maxed out when you're 15 years into training, period, the end. Next question. No, I know this person. They've been training, I think, for like 18 months. So the biggest point that I want to get across is that FTP is not like this. And it's not for people not watching, it's not just this linear upward slope. Because at first you might go from 250 to 270 to 280 to 290, and then you might hover there for a little bit. And then you might have a breakthrough to like 310, and then you might hover there for a little bit. It's more stair step. And FTP, the biggest thing is while you're at 290, you go 250, 270, 280, 290. Who cares about the 290? At that point, you're probably doing 275 repeated more often. That's better off for most people in the events that they're doing. And then when you jump to 310, you're really more repeating 290 more often. That's really nice. So it's like, I'm 150,000 miles into training. And I think while my 20-minute power, it does still kind of slowly go up in very weird stair steps. This year, I actually thought I might have been able to do 450 for 20, but I fell apart and did 440 something, which I never, ever thought I would be able to do. And I remember the first time I did 400 for 20 minutes, like, holy cow, I don't really care about the 440 number. I just more care that now 420 is more like comfortable and later in a ride, which to me is still like, how is this happening? It's happening because I'm only 14 years training age, like you see these crazy pros that have 20 something years of training in. I just don't have my math is going the wrong way because now turning 40, it's going to slowly I'm fighting that battle as long as I can, but being realistic, I think I probably get slower at 45, maybe, who knows, but I would say you're not maxed out. I don't think you're ever maxed out. You're going to get better in some capacity related to FTP. And I just wouldn't even worry. Wouldn't even think about being maxed out ever. Don't have that mindset.
No, I think that you answered. I don't have anything to add in regards to being maxed out, but something else to think about is you touched on this is it's just a number, it's just like like comparing that with other people is like talking about heart rate. It's like, I feel like that number is super specific to a person, and repeatability is where it's at. And how long can you ride at threshold? And that's actually what's going to lead you towards your goals. So it's just something else to think about. It's like talking about miles per hour, where you could be talking about hours on the bike.
You made a good point. How long can you ride at threshold? Time to exhaustion. I did not mention that. So it was a great addition. Okay. Eric had asked Owen's interview, and these questions are so short. These are actually through Instagram for the coffee breakaway. And I was like, guys, these are really more bike radio questions. So they're short because I think you have to get it in the sticker lane. So Owen's interview, approximately upper limit for heart rate was cut off for zone 2 for base. Any insight on a lower limit? So I think what he's saying is the upper limit for heart rate. Oh, the cutoff was zone 2. Any insight on a lower limit? Cutoff. So like, okay. So what's the lower limit for heart rate for base period?
Yeah, I think that's what the question is. I'm thinking of like a zone cutoff. You're thinking like percent of FTP, and like he's thinking like percent heart rate max or threshold heart rate.
Yeah. I'm the wrong person to answer this question. I would just say, what's the zone 2 lower limit of heart rate for you, and go by that. But more so, the lower limit would be go on your recovery ride and ride a little bit harder. That's the lower limit. Like, I'm not trying to be, is snide the word? I'm not trying to be like, or is coy the word? I don't think either of those. I'm not trying to be a smart ass, but that's truly what the lower limit would be. And more applicable to that, go on your upper limit and dial it back a little bit. And that's a nice place to be, that middle zone 2, which I never really preached until the last year. I'm seeing benefits from not always trying to push towards the upper limit. And on days I feel good, I do ride a little bit harder. On days that I don't care. I'm not gonna, everybody knows that push, that just a little bit, when endurance feels a little too hard. Now I will say this, I do push towards the end of a ride if I'm feeling good and I'm riding towards the high end of endurance, and then I get to hour 3.5, I'm like, ooh, it's getting kind of tough. I keep going because I know it's tough because I'm just getting tired, and that's a little bit of like maybe some fatigue resistance or whatever. Everybody's not going to agree with that. And definitely the heart rate people. That's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. But if I'm starting the ride and it's just I'm middle zone 2, I'm like, cool. So I'm middle zone 2, and that's what we are doing.
Definitely. I think heart rate is tough. If he's doing like the context of the question, if he's building like a training plan on heart rate, it can be a little difficult. But I was saying, if you're going to do this in, addition to power, then I think doing an endurance ride will help you, watching the watts and then seeing what happens with your heart rate. This would also be like if you're doing the same routine, if you're riding always in the morning or if you're always riding in the afternoon, if you change those things, your heart rate is going to be different. But I was going to say is like watching those watts, you'll see kind of what happens with your heart rate. And you can see like when you're riding lower end of zone 2, what happens with your heart rate, which I know like this guy probably already knows this. It's a pretty easy way of answering the question. But I think that's the best way of getting an accurate read on what your heart rate is like, high end of zone 2, low end of zone 2.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Chris Niss asks, I'm substituting Nordic skiing for endurance riding a few times a week. Yeah or nay? First off, I think it should be yay or nay, or yeah or nah. But yeah or nay, or yay or nay?
Yay. Definitely yay.
Why?
I think it's a nice, I'm guessing that he's probably, if he's doing Nordic skiing, he's probably in a climate where otherwise he's in Zwift. And I think it's a great way to mix it up. So you're not stuck inside, because that stuff can just like mentally, like, I don't think I say this all the time. And I don't think maybe you've said it in a while, but I think about this mental matches. And it's like, dude, if you're burning those mental matches, always like if it's tough to be on Zwift and you can get outside and, be in the sunshine and maybe be with some friends and have some laughs, like I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Except for the friends and laughing part. It doesn't sound like you're training. It sounds like you're jerking around, which is what Josh is good at doing. Just kidding. Sort of. No, I agree. And stealing from Adam Hansen, he said, your heart doesn't know the difference. As long as you're keeping your heart rate up, you're getting that, endurance training in, and then do the Zwift when it's, or I shouldn't say, I don't want to say Zwift as in like Zwift racing, but like riding indoor cycling, when you can mentally take it. And then also from a podcast we posted, sometimes you got to suck it up and train inside and just do it and don't cry about it. Sometimes it's hard. It's winter. Get over it. I have no sympathy since I'm actually probably grouchy since there was no Zwift when I was in the basement in Rochester for so many freaking winters. You either get it done or you don't. And you just, every winter, just think of spring. And it's just so fun when you come out and you're like, oof, that guy hasn't been riding. You're in for a long day. And I don't even know how the day went because they were dropped very quickly. So not a weird flex, just the truth.
Dude, you know what hit home for me? One last thing was Matt Govero. Speaking of the coughing breakaway, he just had a thing on Instagram and he was just like 4 hours on Zwift. And he was just like, no one's going to do it for you. And I was like, that's the truth. No one is going to do it for you. Just do it or don't do it.
Let's get it done. And he's in Mississippi where they have some cold temps for sure, cold mornings, and he rides in the morning. And I think just based on some life things, doesn't always have the flexibility of like, hey, I'm going to ride at 2 as opposed to 6 a.m. And we were talking about that in Ecuador about shedding the clothes and what happens when it's 35 at the start, but it's going to finish at 60. You can be a sweaty mess. And I saw that same picture and I loved it because if you did a 4-hour ride so what year was this? 2010. I did a 5-hour ride one time and people thought I was nuts. And I said, there's guys that live in Florida that we're going to go race against. They're outside. I didn't do it every weekend, but I actually owned a mountain bike. I took a mountain bike out through the snow and I would try to meander over to, I forget what blog has this picture, meander over to the canal and try not to die by cars sliding all over. If you don't live in the Northeast and don't know what like a ton of snow is like, it's mayhem. And there's no sidewalks open sometimes. It could be early morning. And if I could get to the canal, if they had plowed it or whatever, ride on that. I mean, it was just trying to find a surface you could ride on. And some days I just didn't have it to ride inside ride inside. So it was, all right, I'm going to go out on the mountain bike for an hour and then maybe I'll go to the gym. I mean, I don't know, figure something out and then be upset that I didn't get a long ride in and get hungry for the week. And so it was more use that experience to get super pumped and be like, okay, this week I'm doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm doing 2 hours on the trainer. I'm going to do these workouts. Let's freaking go. And then you just had to hope that you had better weather the next weekend. I mean, I don't know what to tell people. All right, 32:15. The last question from this. How do you jump back into training following being sick? Should you jump straight back in or should I ease into it? Good question, Noah. Josh, what would you say?
Ease back into it 100%.
How would you ease back into it? Let's say you're off for a week.
So I've had some
flu. You are
okay.
Day one, you are barfing and pooping all over your house. You've got chills. You're just a mess. Like this is a bad situation.
Okay, real talk.
Real talk.
You shouldn't be worried about your riding. You should be cleaning your house.
Yeah. You got a bunch of feces everywhere. Clean that up first.
No, like I've had some athletes come back from some serious colds that we thought were COVID, and just super easy. We went by feel. We went by feel for at least a week. It was 7 days of, okay, hey, get on the bike. If you're on, most of these guys were on Zwift or inside. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, it was just a constant communication. I think that's where it's nice to have a coach, and it was just like, okay, I'm feeling good. Maybe we would do some openers, add some efforts. Maybe we would ramp up that endurance percentage, and then maybe we would throw in like a tempo block, like eventually, mm-hmm. But it was all by feel. It wasn't like, hey, let's just get this done. And, we'll talk about it afterwards. It was, let's back it off if you're not feeling it. And like having that flexibility there of like, and the thing is like, you're not going to make any gains if you're not fully, over this cold. you're just digging yourself. You're like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Delaying the inevitable with that cold.
You're letting it linger. I mean, I have at this point of coaching this many people for a very long time, I can honestly tell you, I have had athletes who will not listen and are like, no, I'm 80%. I'm good to go. I'm like, you're not good to go. You're still sick. Well, my throat only kind of hurts. And we could have nipped this thing in the bud. And a month later, literally 4 weeks later, we're still, I'm like almost there. I'm like, dude, had you gotten off the bike 4 weeks ago, this would have been done in 3 to 4 days. But instead, you're not getting fit. You're literally just drilling yourself into the ground. And every workout is so half-assed. It's like, well, do we rest now? Well, no, it's a mess. And I'm only here to help consult with them. They're the boss. It's your riding. You have to take ownership over your training. But every time, and I would put in Training Peaks, oh, you can tell I'm like getting fired up even thinking about this over and over again. Be like, you should be resting. Nope, I'm good. I'm ready to go. This is so stupid. Why are we having, okay, good luck. I mean, can't pull you off the trainer. And you nailed it. Ease back in. Usually the first 2, even if someone takes 3 days off and they're kind of sick, I just say, if you consistently train, if you take 3 days off of the bike, you feel kind of funny when you come back. So I say the first 2 days, I put in literally just ride. Go out and ride. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to do a workout. I don't want you to get frustrated if you don't feel funny. If you do feel funny, or if you're not, we don't want to set a number that you're then not going to hit. Let's get a W by getting the bike ride in. Guess what? Next day, do the same thing. And then I'm the same way. Like maybe we'll do some tempo. Let's slowly ratchet it back up. Because if you got over something quickly, I want to make sure that when you say you're fine, you go ride and you're actually still fine after that ride. Do not jump back in. And then if you have to backpedal a couple steps of where you were at with whatever you're working on, that's totally cool. I think that you're more going to have to retool the schedule because you're planning towards something and you need to reassess. Hey, you're back at wherever you're at. What weakness were you working on? What strength were you doubling down on? That's a conversation that you need to have with yourself and understand where you go forward. And that's why, I don't want to promote coaching so much because I don't want people to think this is just a shtick to be like a sales tool. So I've really been more trying to say, go coach with your buddy, go whoever you're talking to about training. It's really important, or it's very helpful to have that person. I just went through this with a guy who he's green boxes week after week after week after week. And he used to lift. So he might be getting a little aggressive in the gym. He said, damn it, I lifted too much. I tweaked my back. He was off the bike for 2 or 3 days. And he's killing, and he's new though to racing. And so understand how to get ready for races. So do you think I'm going to be okay? I think the race is in like 7 weeks. I'm like, you're fine. Here's the only way you can screw this up is by trying to get back too fast. And what I just talked about. And in a month, we're still having like my back's still kind of messed up. So dude, take it easy. Don't ride. Do what the PT tells you to do. And then the first few rides were like, just ride. And then it was, hey, how'd that endurance ride go? He goes, I felt good, but not amazing. I said, cool. Don't do intervals tomorrow. Do one more day easy. Do a little temp, and then you're back and running within that week. So ease into it. It's going to help you not only in the short, mid, but also long term. You're going to get back to training faster. Think big picture.
I got 2 more things, dude. That was great. I got 2 more things just when you were talking. I was thinking about if you're in the gym and you're taking time off, say you come down with something, like you were saying, dial it back. Don't try to go back to that same progression with those same weights. Dial that way back. You're just going to injure yourself. And the other thing was, oh God, what was it we were just talking about? I already lost the second thing. Just be careful if you're, I don't know. Oh, it was probably a ridiculous point.
You almost need like a pen and paper. I usually have one down here. I'm like not prepared, but I do that because when I'm doing a podcast with somebody, they say something. I'm like, okay, remember to ask them about this, but I'm still trying to listen.
I know, dude. It came back to me though. There's a lot of parallels here with injury, dude. So if you injure yourself, deal with it. Like you said, go to PT, talk to someone rather than delaying the inevitable where it's like, oh, my knee's a little tweaked. I'm just going to train through it. And then like you're off the bike for a month.
Yeah, that's horrible. Oh, it's like the creak on your bike. It's not going to go away. That I was like, I think it's just gonna re-lube itself, or it's gonna figure itself out. Your body's the same way. You need. So I posted a podcast about this. So that was minute 32:15. Sorry, guys. You guys, for these interruptions, blame the people that want chapters. My doing the pigeon pose has really helped my body and it on the bike for longer rides. It's totally loosened up my back, and it's gotten me, I think, then the stretches that I was doing for like low back stuff, nothing specifically, but stretching glutes and doing some core work. I think it's helped to keep everything loose. And I don't really know where I was going with this, but it's had I not gone to PT right away, you're also not going to learn all the tips and tricks that a PT has up their sleeve by Googling on the internet. They're going to know everything that is specific to your injury. And anytime I've been to a PT, and I would say for probably 4 major things, my Achilles, this back thing, my knee at one point, I feel like there was my foot, when I broke my foot. The PTs, I've always been thinking, they're just gonna have me do some exercise. Like, do I really need to be here? They accelerate the speed at which you get back to normal so fast. And it's so, just do these 4 things. Go do these 5 things. Like, it's so dialed. Go to a PT if you have any issues. It cannot recommend that enough. And that's the thing, core mobility, those terms, they're not sexy. They're not things that you can put metrics on. I understand that it took me a long time to buy into focusing on mobility. And I really got more into it when I started lifting, because I started seeing myself, my body, like I would squat. I'm like, something doesn't feel like, it's not as smooth as I feel like it should be. And it's just really interesting. When I was in the gym, I was thinking about this the other day as I was lifting, and I hope I could lift with Patrick one day, a year after I'd lifted for a while. And then I can't remember when I was back in Nashville when we lifted, or he saw me squat and he's like, damn, dude, your form is just so much better. Like, you just look so much more natural than when we first started lifting, however many years ago. And it's really cool. It's a lot of that's been doing mobility and doing the stretches and all these little things that it takes to be a lifetime athlete and when I say lifetime athlete, meaning you care enough about this that you want to have longevity in the game. I don't know what level I'll be riding at in 6 years, 7 years, 4 years, whatever. I'll be riding. I will be competing at some aspect of this sport. And I still want to try and be my best at year, whatever it is. And if you want to have longevity, stay injury free, but forget just injury free, stay at your optimal capability. You got to do the little stuff.
It's the little stuff, dude. That was like, we had that Craig, the other coach, Craig, he made that really good point in the coach's text about you're an athlete way more off the bike than you are on the bike. You know, it's only a sliver of riding. It's all the other time, all the little things off the bike that add up to you being an athlete. Mm-hmm. He said it much better than I did. I'm definitely paraphrasing.
No, it was good. It was just like, hey, if you do a 2-hour ride, that's 1/12 of your day. That's all that I see through Training Peaks. There's a lot more other things. And that's going back to owning your training. That's why athletes need to take ownership over this. You know, coach can only see so much. And so that's why I rely so much on the communication aspect of things. It doesn't have to be a novella, but tell me how you're feeling that day. Tell me what's going on. And the big picture of just, dude, work sucked. I just went for a ride instead. The intervals weren't going to happen. Cool. Let's shift things around. How's the rest of the week look? Da, 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 da. It's a conversation. I actually don't know if that's still in the Instagram bio, but it's conversations about cycling. That's a lot of what coaching is. And that's what I look for in my coach. And just got to be able to understand, try and put yourself in that person's shoes and keep them accountable and do the right workouts to get them to their goals. I think that's the thing.
Hey, I got a new topic here. I don't think we ever talked about this. Yoga.
What about it?
Do you prescribe? I know you don't like the word prescribe.
I use that word.
Do you prescribe yoga to athletes? Have you
Prescribe?
done?
What are you, a doctor? No,
Oh my God.
Blame Josh.
Oh God.
Dude, I can't wait to hang out in person. This is gonna be so awesome. Do I prescribe yoga? I tell people to do something different on Mondays and Fridays, and I put a little like running icon in, and whether it's stretch, whether it's like, I mean, you see it, but I don't give them specific ones because I think that the yoga you should do should be on what you need to. Everyone's gonna be different. Do you have back? Do you have a tight butt? Do you have whatever? Figure that out and then do yoga for that, because I don't want to give you a circuit that's, you might have shoulder pain. So you need to do some like upper body yoga stuff and stretches. And that's something that somebody's going to have to like really dial in, and we could talk about it and figure that out. But I don't want to do like a blanket, do these 5 moves and onward. Although I am thinking that pigeon pose for a lot of cyclists is going to be really good and work up to it because of tight glutes. I think it really helps the lower back, hip flexors. And if you can't do pigeon pose yet, the moves to get there, if you Googled like what to do before pigeon pose, I think are very valuable in their own right. So
Sweet. Yeah, I used to be really into it, and I haven't really done very much. And I was having some conversation with athletes about it. Just got me thinking about yoga again.
Yeah, I did a class a couple times when I was in Rochester. It's nice. I think time-wise, I just don't have the time to get to a class. So I just kind of do my own thing and can find some stuff online. Be good. Do you have you're a SRAM guy, right?
Oh, I'm both. I have Shimano on the road bike, but SRAM on everything else.
When you go in 12 speed, the new 12 speed looks amazing.
I've heard that it's like impossible to get though.
Well, but would you get it right away if you could?
I probably not, dude. I'm not like I'm still rocking 11 speed on my mountain bike, man. And everybody's 12 speed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing it yet. I think that I've got to build up the BMC. And while there's a lot of really good things about it, I heard that it's hard to get. I heard that chains are hard to find, and 11 speed chains there's supposedly some more getting in the mix, but those are still hard to find. That I don't want to upgrade to something. And then I'll have one bike 12 speed, one bike 11 speed, not the end of the world, but I'm trying to figure out, in Florida, the bike gets salty. And so I think I'm riding the Venge down here through the winter, and then maybe just riding the BMC 11 speed, possibly taking the 11 speed stuff from my gravel bike and putting it on there, because damn, I never thought about this though. I guess I'll have to buy a 54 tooth, but with doing some more crits now, I might let those eat up like the races that I had allocated to maybe doing some gravel weekends. I can't race I can't race 4 weekends a month. I want to race a lot this year. I think with COVID and also with just life stuff, the moving took so much more out of me than I had expected. Just being like, where the hell are we this week? Now kind of finally being settled. It's like, okay, I can plan some races. I can plan where I'm going to be and where I'm going to go. And so I was talking to Chris about, I'm ready to like kind of hit the throttle again. I think I did. I don't even know how many races last year, 15, 12, whatever. It felt like a lot, but it was just because half the time I was on the run, like in the car for just life. So I'm excited to hit up some more stuff. And so I think that might mean no gravel racing and just a ton of road racing, which I'd be okay with. I'm kind of too far away from gravel worlds. It would be an epic trip out there. And I really need to save that for Masters Nats and any other road opportunities that open up. Maybe go up to upstate New York again this summer and see my parents and try and get a race in there. I'd actually just messaged, I'm trying to find out if Bristol is happening, or no, Bloomfield.
I didn't see either of those. I've been looking at the New York State calendar. I didn't see either of those on there.
So they switched it though. It's in July now. Bloomfield's on there in black.
Oh, it is?
On the draft. I still get those emails.
Okay.
So I don't know. I would maybe come up in July. It's 2 weeks before Albuquerque though, so I'm really asking for a big driving block. I don't know. We'll see.
Dude, speaking of gravel, you got to get into gravel though, because now they got the Gravel Hall of Fame.
I have no comment on that. I don't even know if I should comment on that.
I just read the headline, dude. I didn't do any research on
DYOR.
Yeah, I know.
All I saw was on Twitter, people were like, do they realize that there's actually a cycling Hall of Fame already? Why is there? My thing is, and Adam Meyerson, he's pretty funny on Twitter. He's pretty serious though also. He had posted, it's amazing how quickly gravel became exactly what it didn't want to be. Couldn't agree more. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I like gravel. I want to preface this with that. I like gravel. I think the events are really hard. I think it is super awesome to go do 150 miles and the race. It's very interesting because 5 years ago when I bought my first gravel bike or got it from DNA and from Allied, thank you guys for getting me into this. It was very much, I didn't like it. They kind of like, road is so elitist and there's so much like road is bad and gravel's man, like come to these races and have a great time. And now just 5 years later, there's a lot of squawking. There's a lot of people complaining about this and people bitching about that. And this isn't right. And that's not right. And this person's charging too much for reg and we can't get into this race. And screw that person. And this person's using aero bars and this person skipped the feed zone. It's always complaining from gravel. It's never like, yo, this race is going to be amazing. It's rooted whatever's charging too much. And I'm like, damn, dude, y'all are bitching a lot. And then here's road over here just being like, yo, we're trying to get back on the scene and we're trying to like, maybe we'll do some more Grand Fondos and the crit's got its own big bubble going on. And it's sort of, maybe that's what maybe unconsciously I'm like, yo, these crit people are having fun over there. And you know, Legion, those guys are killing it, getting people super pumped about bikes. Maybe just being a roadie, I'm blinded to it. And I totally understand the elitist thing that people don't like about road. I've always said we need to be more welcoming. Say hello to the person that looks like they're uncomfortable because they are, and because you were that person when you first came to a bike race. Don't lie. But it's also, to play devil's advocate, the reason people are like that is because deep down inside, 98% of us are more comfortable turning to the person that we know and chatting than being uncomfortable. Like, hey, random person, how you doing? We're both feeling a little like, oh, I don't know you. I don't know what to say. It's not elitist. It's like you look at some bike racers at the start line, I'm like, man, that person's probably a dick. Like, screw that problem. We're going to crush that person. And you like meet each other through Instagram. You're like, wow, that person's awesome. Like, what's up, man? I'm like, never thought we'd be friends. And I think we're all just naturally a little intimidated of each other because we're all there to race and compete. But the more you just open yourself up and like, what's up? What's up? So am I way off base with that comment or
I was going to say, I had just talked to someone and they were talking about a gravel race and they were like, yeah, I really wanted to go, but I think it's just going to be too competitive. And 5 years ago, that just wouldn't have been the case. Like, it was just like, that wasn't what it was about. You know, it was like, let's go and have a good time. But what I wanted to say on that same point was that I think the local gravel races and even the local road races, those they don't have the prestige and they're not as big, but they do kind of like have the homegrown, like, let's just have fun, you know, which is different. The larger ones do. I mean, there's prize money and stuff now. It's just a different atmosphere.
Yeah, I guess. I guess you're right there. Yeah, I don't know. That's just my own perception. I'd actually love to hear other people's thoughts on that. What's your perception of gravel? What's your perception of road? What type of discipline are you most pumped about for 2022? Bullet or chapter 53. What are you most pumped about for 2022? Email us questions to josh@evoq.bike or brendan@evoq.bike. And yeah, this has me thinking, I don't know. So maybe I'll do a gravel race if I don't destroy the bike. But that's the other thing. Since I lost a shifter, I missed all of last season and I actually wasn't too sad about it. And to be fair, my gravel bud Patrick, he just had a kid. We didn't live in the same city. So we really didn't get to go do any gravel races together. And we got, it's kind of how we started. And so maybe I like miss my adventure bud, but Matt does race gravel. I just love roads so much that I think that love is just like, I'm so thankful that the cup just still feels like it's overflowing and just trying to capitalize on that. And so it makes me want to, like, when the fire is burning, I'm like, let's throw some more logs in there. Like, gravel's cool. I'm not dissing gravel. But maybe just keep going with the road. We'll see.
That's the beauty of the sport, man. Go do whatever you want to do. There are lots of options here, thankfully.
Lots of options. And there's so many wild events that I'm pumped for. There's just so many events to do. Yeah. You got anything else?
Dude, I got one last thing. And speaking of events, this just came to me. Because I don't know how far you are from, what's the drive if you wanted to go to Miami? Is it like an hour and a half?
Distance wise, it's like 30 miles. With traffic, like 50 hours. No, it's probably an hour to Miami.
Have you ever thought about doing any track racing at that? Because I know there's a track there, like right outside of Miami.
The thought has crossed my mind. People have told me I should try it. The whole no brake thing is probably not great for me. I wish I'd done track when I was 26. When I first started, I think it would have been, bike handling, and I'm not against it, but driving to ride, no, I wouldn't drive to Miami to do that, because there inevitably would be during times when there's a lot of traffic, and I just don't have time to sit in traffic.
For sure.
So I'd rather be riding on the road here. But good thought. Maybe if it ever starts snowing in Florida, then I will consider it. But as of right now, it doesn't look like snow.
10 more years though, dude. Who knows?
That global cooling thing. Do you hear about that? How it switched? It's like everything is getting colder.
That's what it is now?
I told people just to blame Josh. It's getting colder. Blame Josh. I think global warming is a forever thing. I could be wrong though.
I think it definitely is a forever. I can't tell if you're messing right now.
No, I'm messing with you. It's just hot.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I will see you in a week, and we will try and have to do a live session with the mic. I'll have to test that to see if we can get the room recorded and wear a mask. And other than that, Bike Radio episode 10.
Is it 10? I don't know. We'll find out. 10 or 9? 10 or I don't know. Whatever.
We did 9. I know we did 9.
Okay.
I'm not very keen on the number 9, and I think I remember seeing that. So we'll check, but I'm almost positive. Signing off. Have a great week. I'll talk to you soon. Email us questions. Check out the blog. Oh, I forgot to do that roll call. Leave us reviews. That's what we really need.
Happy early birthday, man. Have some cake tomorrow.
I'm going to have a dessert for sure.
Nice.
All right, man. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye. Bye-bye.